Have you ever heard of a single man holding an entire Roman army at bay? Not a king, not a general, but a scientist. Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible stories from antiquity, the epic Siege of Syracuse, where the genius of one man, Archimedes, became the city's greatest weapon. Our story begins in 214 BC. The Roman Republic, a rising superpower, had its eyes set on Syracuse, a wealthy and strategic Greek city-state on the island of Sicily. Led by the formidable general Marcus Claudius Marcellus, a massive Roman force, complete with a powerful fleet, arrived at the city's walls, expecting a swift and easy victory. They had no idea what, or rather who, was waiting for them. Syracuse was the home of Archimedes, perhaps the greatest mind of the ancient world. He was a mathematician, a physicist, an engineer, and an inventor. When the Romans attacked, the city's ruler, King Hero II, turned to his most brilliant citizen for help. Archimedes, a man of peace and theory, was about to unleash his practical genius on the battlefield. The Romans launched a two-pronged assault. Marcellus led the naval attack from the sea, while his co-commander, Appius Claudius Pulcher, led the land assault. The Roman soldiers were confident. Their siege engines were state-of-the-art, their numbers were overwhelming, and their discipline was legendary. As their ships approached the seaward walls, they prepared for what they thought would be a standard assault. They were wrong. Suddenly, the walls of Syracuse came alive. Giant cranes, designed by Archimedes, swung massive grappling hooks out over the water. These devices, known as the Claw of Archimedes, would grab the prows of Roman ships, lift them clear out of the sea, and then abruptly release them, either capsizing them or smashing them against the rocks. Imagine the terror of the Roman sailors, hoisted into the air by an unseen force, only to be plunged into chaos. The psychological impact was immense. The Roman fleet was thrown into disarray, their morale shattered. On the landward side, things were no better for the attackers. As Roman soldiers advanced with their siege towers and battering rams, they were met with a storm of projectiles. Archimedes had designed and upgraded the city's catapults to be terrifyingly efficient. Some were smaller, scorpions, that fired deadly bolts with pinpoint accuracy, picking off soldiers from a distance. Others were enormous stone throwers that could hurl boulders weighing hundreds of pounds, smashing Roman siege equipment to splinters and crushing entire groups of soldiers. Ancient accounts, particularly those from the historian Plutarch, describe the scene as one of utter pandemonium. The Roman soldiers were so spooked by Archimedes' inventions that they would panic at the sight of any rope or beam appearing over the walls, believing it to be another one of his infernal machines. Marcellus, a hardened veteran, could only watch in frustration as his powerful army was thwarted by the intellect of a single old man. He reportedly joked, "Shall we not cease fighting against this geometrical Briareus," referencing a hundred-handed giant from Greek mythology. One of the most legendary, though debated tales from the siege is the story of the Death Ray. It's said that Archimedes arranged a series of polished bronze shields or large mirrors to focus the sun's rays onto the Roman ships. This concentrated beam of light would heat the wooden vessels until they burst into flames from a distance. While modern experiments have shown this is technically feasible, historians are divided on whether it actually happened. But whether fact or legend, the story adds to the mystique of Archimedes' defensive genius. It painted a picture of a man who could command not just machines, but the very elements themselves. Faced with such ingenious and terrifying defenses, Marcellus was forced to change his strategy. A direct assault was impossible. He decided to settle in for a long blockade, hoping to starve the city into submission. For over 2 years, the mighty Roman army was held in check, a testament to the incredible effectiveness of Archimedes' engineering. The siege turned into a stalemate, a battle of endurance rather than brute force. The city of Syracuse held out, but internal politics and a stroke of luck would ultimately seal its fate. In 212 BC, the Syracusans were celebrating a festival to the goddess Artemis. They let their guard down, drinking and feasting. A Roman sympathizer inside the city signaled to Marcellus that a section of the wall was poorly guarded. Under the cover of night, a small group of Roman soldiers scaled the undefended walls and opened the gates for the main army. Even with the Romans inside the city, the fight wasn't over. The city was divided into sections, and fierce street-by-street fighting ensued. But the end was inevitable. The organized Roman legions systematically took control of Syracuse. The city that had resisted for so long finally fell. In the chaos of the city's fall, a tragedy occurred. General Marcellus, despite his frustration, held a deep respect for Archimedes. He had given strict orders that the great thinker's life was to be spared. He wanted to meet the man who had single-handedly defied his legions. But it was not to be. According to the most famous account, a Roman soldier stumbled upon an old man, completely absorbed in drawing geometric figures in the sand. This was Archimedes, lost in thought, possibly working on a new mathematical problem. The soldier ordered him to come along to see Marcellus. Preoccupied, Archimedes waved him away, saying, "Do not disturb my circles." Enraged by this defiance, the soldier drew his sword and struck him down. And so, one of history's greatest minds was extinguished in a moment of senseless violence. Marcellus was reportedly devastated when he heard the news. He gave Archimedes an honorable burial and showed kindness to his surviving relatives. But the loss was immeasurable. The siege of Syracuse stands as a unique event in military history. It wasn't just a battle of armies. It was a battle of brawn versus brains, of Roman might against Greek intellect. It demonstrated that innovation and technology could be a powerful force multiplier, allowing a smaller, well-defended force to hold off a much larger one. Archimedes' legacy isn't just in his mathematical theorems or his principle of buoyancy. It's also etched into the walls of Syracuse, a timeless reminder that the human mind can be the most powerful weapon of all. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more tales from history. Let me know in the comments what you think about Archimedes' incredible inventions. We'll see you in the next video.